Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History. It has gone through many design changes, varieties, and special issues. But even in modern times, collectors continue to discover treasures that can turn an ordinary-looking coin into something worth an incredible fortune. One of the most fascinating modern coins that has captured attention in recent years is the 2021 Washington quarter. Now, at first glance, many people would think that a coin minted just a few years ago couldn't possibly carry a life-changing value, but that's exactly where the story gets exciting. Certain quarters from 2021 with special mint marks, errors, or rare conditions have proven to be far more valuable than anyone could have imagined. The year 2021 was an important time for the Washington Quarter series because it was the last year of the America the Beautiful quarter program, which began in 2010 and honored national parks and historic sites across the country. These coins were minted with stunning designs, and in 2021, the program closed with the issue of the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site quarter. It was also a transition year because after the America the Beautiful series ended, the Mint began preparing to launch a brand new program in 2022 honoring prominent American women. This makes the 2021 quarters especially historic, because they represent the end of one chapter and the beginning of another in American coinage. Now let's talk about the mint marks. Quarters minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, those struck in Denver have a D, and coins produced in San Francisco feature an S. The San Francisco Mint also produced special proof coins for collectors, some of them in silver. These mint marks are crucial in identifying where your coin was made, and in certain cases, they can make a massive difference in value. For example, a coin with a rare die variety or proof strike from San Francisco could be worth significantly more than a common circulation coin from Philadelphia. Collectors look for every small detail, from the sharpness of the design to any doubling in the letters or unusual marks on the coin. What makes the 2021 quarters so thrilling for treasure hunters is that despite being a modern issue, certain coins have already become rare finds due to minting errors or pristine conditions. Sometimes, errors occur during the minting process, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet flaws. While most coins go through quality control and are released into circulation with little variation, every so often one of these rare error coins escapes into the hands of the public. These are the coins that collectors are willing to pay huge premiums for, and they can be sitting in everyday pocket change without anyone realizing their true value. Condition also plays a massive role in determining the worth of a 2021 Washington quarter. Coins that went straight into circulation often pick up scratches, dings, and wear almost immediately, which reduces their value to face value only. But those that were set aside right away, kept in protective cases, or struck as special collector's editions can remain in nearly perfect condition, also known as mint state. High-grade coins, especially those certified by grading services, can fetch thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars because collectors want the absolute best examples of every coin. The design of the 2021 quarter honoring the Tuskegee Airmen is another reason collectors are fascinated. The reverse shows a powerful image of a Tuskegee pilot in the foreground with two P-51 Mustangs flying overhead. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of history honoring the bravery and contributions of the first African-American military aviators in the United States. Combined with the long-standing image of George Washington on the obverse, this coin carries both patriotic and historical significance, making it even more desirable for collectors who want more than just silver or copper nickel. They want a story preserved in metal. The thrill of modern coin hunting is that many people overlook the quarters in their pocket change. They think only old coins have value, but in reality, some of the most valuable finds have come from modern issues with rare traits. People have reported finding these coins at banks, in rolls of quarters, or even as loose change at the grocery store. That possibility, that an everyday coin can secretly be worth a fortune, is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every quarter you hold has a chance of being the one rare treasure that stands apart from millions of others. Collectors are increasingly paying attention to the 2021 Washington quarter because it is such a recent coin, yet certain varieties are already commanding extraordinary prices at auctions. This is a reminder that rarity isn't always about age, sometimes it's about uniqueness, condition, and timing. A coin minted in 2021 can, under the right circumstances, be worth just as much as coins struck many decades ago. the next time you receive a quarter in your change, take a closer look. Check the mint mark, inspect the details, and consider the condition. Because what might appear to be just another 25-cent piece could actually be a collector's dream find. And the value of these rare finds is not just measured in dollars but in the story, history, and passion they carry. Today, we'll take a deep dive into the 1985 Washington quarter, explore its background, design, mint marks, errors, and why it has become such a valuable and sought-after piece in the world of numismatics. The year 1985 was an important one in U.S. coin history because it marked a period of steady production at the U.S. Mint. Unlike special anniversary years, 1985 didn't introduce major design changes or commemorative issues, but that's what makes this coin interesting. Its rarity doesn't come from an intentional redesign but rather from the subtle details that set certain pieces apart. Washington quarters from 1985 were struck at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, which are the two main facilities responsible for producing circulation coins in large numbers. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, while Denver issues proudly display the D mark. In addition, some proof coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S, and these proofs were often made in much smaller quantities, intended for collectors rather than circulation. The obverse design of the 1985 quarter features the familiar portrait of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan, which had been in use since the coin's debut in 1932. Above Washington's head is the word Liberty, while the motto, "In God We Trust," appears to his left, and the date, 1985, rests just below his neck. It's a simple, classic design that has endured for generations and continues to remind Americans of the nation's first president. On the reverse side, you'll see the heraldic eagle with its wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows in its talons while olive branches curve below. Above the eagle are the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, while the denomination, quarter dollar, is inscribed below. Together, these details create a timeless image of strength and unity, but what makes a 1985 quarter valuable isn't just the design, it's the rarity, condition, and in some cases, unusual minting errors. For everyday circulation coins, millions were produced in both Philadelphia and Denver, which means the average coin is common. However, when you find one in pristine, mint-state condition with sharp details, no scratches, and full luster, that's when the value skyrockets. Collectors are always searching for the highest-grade examples of these coins, and grading services like PCGS and NGC often certify them at levels like MS-65, MS-66, or even higher. A coin graded at the top of the scale can fetch thousands of dollars simply because of its exceptional preservation. Then there are the rare and exciting mint errors. Error coins are like hidden treasures, and the 1985 Washington quarter is no exception. Some examples include double dies, where the lettering or details of Washington's portrait appear slightly doubled due to a striking misalignment. Others show off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly centered during minting. There are even coins struck on the wrong planchet, meaning a blank intended for a different denomination, like a nickel or a dime, was mistakenly used. These rare anomalies make error coins one of a kind and push their value far beyond that of a normal 1985 quarter. Collectors love error coins because they're tangible evidence of history in action, showing that even the mint can produce surprises. Another factor that adds to the mystique of the 1985 Washington quarter is the fact that most people don't realize it could be worth more than its face value. Many of these coins ended up in circulation, passed from hand to hand in everyday transactions, suffering from wear and tear over the decades. Because of this, truly pristine examples are rare today, and they stand out as gems in a collector's cabinet. It's a reminder that even a coin as recent as 1985, less than half a century old, can still hold enormous value under the right circumstances. The thrill of coin collecting often lies in the unknown. You could pull a handful of change from your pocket, glance at the quarters, and discover a coin that's worth a life-changing amount of money. That's why collectors and treasure hunters alike are so passionate about examining every detail, checking mint marks, looking for doubling, and keeping an eye on condition. Every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth far more than others. The Washington quarter from 1985 is a perfect example of this. It may not be ancient, and it may not carry a commemorative design, but within its simple image lies the potential for something extraordinary. Certain examples, especially those with rare mint marks, flawless condition, or dramatic errors, have proven to be among the most valuable quarters of the modern era. Today we're going to explore the fascinating world of the United States Washington quarter dollar from the year 1988. While most people might see it as just another 25-cent piece, the truth is that certain 1,988 quarters with mint marks, pristine conditions, or rare errors have stunned the collecting world by reaching astonishing values. So, let's take a closer look at what makes this coin so special and why it continues to draw the attention of numismatists and treasure hunters alike. By 1988, the Washington quarter had already been in production for more than half a century, originally introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin's obverse features the profile of America's first president. The word "Liberty" arches across the top, with the powerful phrase, "In God We Trust," to the left of Washington's portrait and the date, 1988, positioned beneath his neckline. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle dominates the design, wings spread proudly, clutching arrows in its talons as a symbol of strength and readiness, with olive branches beneath representing peace. Surrounding this are the inscriptions, "United States of America" at the top, "E Pluribus Unum" just above the eagle, and "Quarter Dollar" at the bottom. It is a design that embodies both the strength of the nation and its aspirations for peace. Now, when it comes to mint marks, the 1988 Washington quarter was produced at 3 different locations. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins without a mint mark, the Denver Mint produced coins with a D mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint struck proof coins marked with an S. Proof coins from San Francisco were created with special care, polished dies, and mirror-like surfaces, making them stand out from the typical circulation strikes. These mint marks are crucial for collectors because they often determine rarity, with some mintages being much lower than others. The real excitement comes when you start considering condition and grading. The majority of 1988 quarters that went into circulation quickly developed wear, scratches, and other imperfections. These well-used coins are usually only worth their face value. However, those that were carefully preserved in mint state, showing no signs of wear, are the ones that make collectors' hearts race. Coins graded MS 65 and higher, especially MS 67 or MS 68, are incredibly rare and can bring in huge sums at auction. Collectors are willing to pay high prices for these because they want the very best examples available. Coins that shine exactly as they did the day they left the minting press. Errors and varieties are another reason why the 1988 quarter has captured so much attention. During the minting process, mistakes sometimes happen, and while most flawed coins are melted down or destroyed, a few slip through and end up in circulation. Error coins can include double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins struck on the wrong planchet altogether. Imagine finding a 1988 quarter struck on a nickel or dime blank. That would instantly make it a rare treasure worth thousands. These unusual errors are one-of-a-kind pieces that set themselves apart from millions of ordinary coins, and collectors go crazy for them because of their uniqueness. Another aspect that boosts the appeal of the 1988 Washington quarter is its place in history. The 1980s were a transformative period in American society, culture, and economy. Coins from this era reflect the everyday lives of people who were experiencing big shifts, from technology advancements to political changes. While they may not be as old as coins from the early 1900s or 1800s, quarters from the late 20th century are beginning to gain recognition as vintage collectibles, especially when preserved in top condition or featuring striking errors. It's also fascinating to think about how these coins traveled through countless hands. A quarter minted in 1988 may have been used in payphones, arcade machines, vending machines, or even laundromats, each carrying with it a slice of American life during that decade. Yet, hidden among the billions produced, a few extraordinary coins were set aside or discovered later, and these are the ones that have captured the attention of serious collectors. What makes coin collecting so thrilling is the possibility that a rare find could appear in the most unexpected place. You might receive change at a store or search through a roll of quarters from the bank and suddenly spot something unusual. That element of discovery, the chance that your everyday change could hide a treasure, is what fuels the passion for coin hunting across the country. The 1988 Washington quarter reminds us that not all valuable coins are centuries old or made of precious metals. Sometimes, modern coins can shock the collecting world by fetching unbelievable prices. The key is in knowing what to look for: mint marks, condition, errors, and overall rarity. This is why collectors are constantly studying and searching, hoping to be the one to uncover the next big find. Today, we'll take a long journey into the story of the 1965 Washington quarter dollar, unraveling its background, design, minting changes, and why collectors hunt for it so passionately. By 1965, the United States Mint faced a crisis that forever changed coinage. The demand for silver skyrocketed, and the rising cost of silver meant that the U.S. government could no longer afford to keep producing dimes and quarters with 90% silver content. Until 1964, Washington quarters were made primarily of silver, giving them intrinsic value as well as their face value. But starting in 1965, the mint made a historic change. It removed silver from the quarter altogether and introduced a clad composition of copper and nickel. This shift marked the end of an era, and the 1965 Washington quarter became the very first of its kind, produced without silver. On the obverse, the coin still carried the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan back in 1932. His profile faces left, framed by the word "Liberty" above and "In God We Trust" to the side, with the date, 1965, just beneath the bust. On the reverse, the proud eagle spreads its wings wide, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, a symbol of America's strength and peace. Though the design did not change, the very feel of the coin did, with its copper-nickel surface giving it a slightly different color and texture compared to its silver predecessors. Another fascinating detail about the 1965 Washington quarter is the absence of any mint mark. From 1965 through 1967, the mint removed all mint marks from coins in an effort to discourage hoarding and speculation. Collectors at the time were holding back coins with certain mint marks, especially silver issues, believing they might appreciate in value. To stop this, the government struck coins without mint marks so people couldn't easily distinguish between Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco issues. That makes the 1965 quarter unique in U.S. coin history. No matter where it was minted, you won't find a mint mark on it. Now let's talk about why this coin, which seems so common at first, can actually be incredibly valuable. The key lies in errors, varieties, and condition. Millions of 1965 quarters were struck, and most are worth only face value today. But among them, there are rare treasures. Some 1965 quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover 90% silver planchets from 1964. These silver transitional errors are extremely rare and highly prized. Imagine finding what appears to be a normal 1965 quarter but testing it reveals it is silver instead of clad. That is a jackpot find for any collector. In addition, other minting errors like off-center strikes, double strikes, or coins struck on wrong planchets can add huge value. Condition plays a massive role as well. The vast majority of 1965 quarters circulated heavily, ending up scratched, worn, and dinged from decades of use. High-grade mint state coins, especially those graded MS 65 or higher, are rare survivors. Proof-like examples or coins with extraordinary luster are even more coveted. Collectors are willing to pay enormous sums for coins that look like they just rolled off the minting press, even though they were struck nearly 60 years ago. Beyond condition and errors, the historical importance of the 1965 quarter adds to its appeal. It was more than just a coin, it was a symbol of change in U.S. coinage. This was the beginning of the clad era, a move that reflected the shifting economic conditions of the country. Every 1965 quarter carries with it the story of America's struggle with silver shortages and the government's effort to modernize the monetary system. Think about how many 1965 quarters have passed through hands over the decades, spent in payphones, parking meters, laundromats, arcades, and vending machines. These coins were part of everyday life, circulating widely across the country. Yet hidden among the billions are rare gems that can transform a pocket change discovery into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. That's what makes coin collecting so thrilling. You never know when you might uncover history and wealth in something as small as a quarter. Collectors today hunt tirelessly for 1965 Washington quarters with exceptional qualities. They know that while most examples remain ordinary, there are a select few that stand out as extraordinary. These are the coins that end up in auction houses, sparking bidding wars, and shocking the world with their final selling prices. It may look like just another ordinary coin that passed from hand to hand for decades, but beneath that familiar design lies the potential for hidden treasure. This is one of those coins that collectors dream about, not just for its place in American history, but also for its surprising value when it carries the right mint mark, condition, or error that sets it apart from millions of others. Let's take a step back into the history of the Washington quarter. The series began in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the nation's first president. The portrait on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan, has since become one of the most iconic and recognizable images in all of U.S. coinage. For more than 4 decades, the Washington quarter had already seen its ups and downs, from silver coinage to clad, from minting changes to the boom of collecting during the mid-20th century. By the time 1977 rolled around, the quarter was firmly part of everyday life in America. These coins were struck in huge numbers at multiple U.S. mints, serving as both a workhorse in commerce and a silent witness to American history as it unfolded in the late 1970s. Now, while millions of 1977 Washington quarters were produced, not all are created equal. The true excitement for collectors comes from rare mint marks, unusual errors, and pristine conditions that make some coins incredibly desirable. Quarters from this year can be found with the D mint mark from Denver, the S from San Francisco for proof coins, and the Philadelphia coins, which carried no mint mark at the time. Each of these carries its own story, but it's the rarest among them that can push values to staggering heights. Imagine finding a quarter from 1977 that left the mint with a striking error, perhaps a double die, an off-center strike, or even a wrong planchet error. These mistakes, although unintended, became treasures once they were noticed by the collecting community. Some errors make coins one-of-a-kind pieces, meaning that a collector somewhere is willing to pay an extraordinary amount to add it to their collection. Condition also plays a massive role in value. While a circulated 1977 quarter might only be worth face value, those few coins that survived in mint state or even in gem-proof condition could be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Grading services like PCGS and NGC carefully evaluate each coin, and those with sharp details, brilliant luster, and nowhere at all can command prices far above the average collector's expectations. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest details, like the faintest scratch or the clarity of Washington's hairlines, make the biggest difference in determining a coin's fortune. But perhaps the most jaw-dropping aspect of the 1977 Washington quarter comes from specific coins that have surfaced in the numismatic market and shocked everyone with their selling prices. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks like every other quarter you've spent on a soda or parking meter, yet when placed under the eyes of an expert or in the spotlight of an auction house, its value skyrockets into life-changing territory. That's the dream for every coin enthusiast, the hope that among the common, the extraordinary still hides. The Washington quarter from 1977 is also a symbol of its era. America in the late 70s was experiencing cultural change, economic challenges, and technological growth. Coins from this period reflect not just monetary value but also the broader narrative of what life was like at the time. For collectors, owning a piece of that history, especially when it's tied to rarity and high demand, creates a deep personal connection between past and present. Every collector knows that patience, knowledge, and a keen eye are essential in this journey. Quarters minted in 1977 often go overlooked, but seasoned numismatists understand that careful searching can yield incredible rewards. Whether found in old coin rolls, tucked away in a drawer, or inherited from a relative, these coins remind us of the thrilling possibility that treasure can hide in plain sight. And now, the moment that makes all of this even more exciting: the highest reported value of a rare 1977 Washington quarter dollar with the right mint mark and in pristine condition has stunned collectors and investors alike. Imagine the surprise of realizing that a single quarter, a coin meant to be worth just 25 cents, can hold a value that seems almost unimaginable. In fact, the top price reached for such a coin is $125,000. That is the magic of coin collecting, turning everyday pocket change into history, treasure, and sometimes even a small fortune.